Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So, today's episode, we're going to talk about modern day civil war, or what it would look like, or what it possibly could look like. So I'm not saying that, again, civil war is imminent. I do feel it's going to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen today, tomorrow. You know, it could happen in the next 5 years. It could happen in the next 20 years. We don't know, right? So with us talking about all of this in-house battling, if you will, that we have going on right now with the riots and the looting and the protesters battling protesters, we are headed towards a civil war. So now we are going to compare it to the old Civil War, the original in 1861. That's when it started, the first Civil War, sorry. So the second Civil War would be in the 21st century, if it actually pops off. One side of me would think, or like to say, that it's not just because, and I'm going to go over a few factors a little later on. And then another side of me is thinking it could happen because there's so much tension. So let's start with the original Civil War. Now, the original Civil War started in 1861. It ended in 1865. The original Civil War had over 10,000 military engagements. That doesn't mean that they were battles. That means it could have been skirmishes or whatever it was. A lot of the major battles took place in history, or turned the tides of history for the Union. So there were 50 major battles with over 100 significant battles, right? So that was, again, skirmishes, not across the United States, but in a lot of states in the United States. Now, the old Civil War, there were approximately, and this is a huge range, guys, 620,000 to 750,000 soldier deaths in the original Civil War. That is not including civilians, and we've known that civilians have died in a lot of these skirmishes and battles. So that number, that 620,000 to 750,000, is not including civilians. So just know that. The modern day Civil War will probably have, I'm going to probably say, maybe a little less of those numbers, only because we don't have definitive sides fighting for a cause. We have definitive sides, if you will, and I mean multiple sides. We don't have the Union and the Confederate. We have multiple factions wanting to fight one another. And that could start a civil war, but it won't be between two sides. It'll be between multiple sides. And that's why I think less people are going to die, and I think it's going to be less engaging than the original Civil War, because there's no real leadership in this Civil War, this modern day Civil War, if you will. The Civil War that we're going to have, modern day Civil War, it's going to be something, but it's not going to be as bad as the original Civil War. Yes, we have way more people, but we also have way less people that are gullible to join either sides, right? We have people who, like myself, will stand in the middle and look at facts and not run off emotions and run in a battle or whatever fight just because I'm angry, right? So there's a lot of people who are like that, who will just look at the facts. We're not going to sit there and run into some shit because we feel a certain way. We want to sit back and get all the facts. Now, that being said, everyone's facts is going to be a lie, and I'll explain that obviously a little more. So Antifa, BLM, Proud Boys, and whatever other factions pop up, they all have their facts. They all run off of emotions. So with that, these people are going to conjure up their own facts when it's actually lies, and they're going to get people more amped up, more willing to fight. The media is doing a good job of it right now. We all see that. So these groups are going to come up with their own lies. We've seen BLM come up with their own lies, and we've seen Antifa come up with their own lies. I've seen some of Proud Boys and their lies, if you will. If there's anybody who's a member of the Proud Boys, you want to jump on this with me and we can have an open conversation, then we'll have an open conversation. But right now, I'm not hearing a lot of good things with them. So that's why the Civil War is going to be less engaging with people wanting to join, because you're just going to have, as of right now, 3 sides. No, I'm sorry, 4, because you have the Not Fucking Around crew. I forgot about those assholes. You got them. starting up their lies. So now you got 4 fucking groups lying. There's a problem, right? There's no real leadership. This is under a false narrative, this civil war. Now, should we break into a civil war, our civil war is going to have pockets of skirmishes and battles. And that's all over the United States, right? So that's from coast to coast, north to south, all over the United States. Now, obviously, there are some areas that are going to be untouched. Like, I'm going to probably say along the Midwest is probably going to be untouched. You're going to have some assholes like BLM and Not Fucking Around crew try to go into the Midwest, which would be a bad idea. It'd be an extremely bad idea to go into gun states and act like you're going to do some shit to those people. Nonetheless, I think the Midwest will be sort of untouched, sort of. But I do see people trying to start shit there, but it won't be as bad as the coastal states, west and east. I think a lot of that, because we have a lot of democratic cities along these coastal lines, we're going to see more of these skirmishes and battles. But I don't think, again, it's going to have the outcome that these assholes think they're going to get out of this civil war. So like I said before, this civil war is going to be pushed on a false narrative between these groups looking to start some shit. Now, I know that, again, I'm going to mention Proud Boys, they're more looking to defend their shit. But once you take yourself and you go to another state and you confront another group, you are becoming the aggressor and the assholes. The same goes for BLM, Not Fucking Around crew, and Antifa. You are being the aggressors. These people are not righteous by any stretch of the imagination. None, right? They are starting to fight. Now, if Antifa and Non Fucking Around crew comes to your neighborhood and wants to start some shit, then you let them have it. Now you're defending yourself. But going on the offense is stupid, because then you become part of the problem. So, with this leaderless war, we don't have definitive leaders. We don't have an Abraham Lincoln, and we don't have a Jefferson Davis, who was the Confederate leader during the original Civil War. So we don't have 2 definitive leaders. We're not going to have states jump in on this like the original Civil War. There were 11 states that left the Union, joined the Confederacy, and that's when all hell started breaking loose. We don't have that. We're not going to have states take sides. We don't have politicians truly taking sides. We have politicians not doing anything, but that's entirely different than a politician saying, I'm for this war, I'm for the Civil War, I want them to fight. We don't have any politicians admitting to that anyway. So we have a leaderless war. We don't have real leaders. We have these immature assholes out there starting these bullshit fights. We have immature assholes starting these protests and attacking people. All right? So this is a problem, right? The leaderless war means this shit can go anywhere it wants because there's no one guiding them. And to boot, you're going to have factions break off within these factions. So BLM is going to break off. You're going to have BLM guys and be like, nah, this isn't good. And you're going to have BLM guys and be like, yo, let's get in this shit. You're going to have Not Fucking Around crew guys and be like, yo, we can't get into this stupid fight. Then you're going to have guys like, fuck that, we're ready to fight. Same thing with Proud Boys, and same thing, I'm not going to say Antifa, because Antifa has proven to be a bunch of dicks so far. I have seen good people in BLM, and I have seen, well, I haven't seen any in Not Fucking Around crew yet, actually. And I have seen a couple good guys in Proud Boys. So those are the factions that are going to break off and then start their own group, and then they're not going to get involved. So it's going to be an ongoing problem when you have a leaderless war. Now, we had certain factions break off in the Civil War, if I'm not mistaken, but even then, they chose a side. They chose to fight for the Union, they chose to fight for the Confederacy, right? So they still picked a side. With no definitive sides and a borderless war, you're going to have mayhem when Civil War breaks out, or modern day Civil War breaks out, because it'll be all over the place. There'll be no rules. There'll be nowhere they're going to meet. They're not going to have a little kid with a flute walking down a field with another group facing each other off. That's not how Civil War is going to look. It's not going to look like the 1861, right? It's going to look like urban warfare. That's what modern day Civil War is going to look like. And people need to start to realize that we are headed in that direction with a false narratives under asshole groups. So just because Not Fucking Around crew is arming up and getting ready to get into some bullshit make-believe fight that they're trying to start, that doesn't mean you take it to them. You wait till they come to your neighborhood and then you start some shit. Like I said before, you don't go out of your way to smack around uneducated children, right? You just Let them do what they're going to do, and if they confront you, then you let them have it. Simple as that. So like I said before, this is going to be more of a people's war, right? It's going to be, again, a leaderless, no guidance war where people are going to decide whether or not they want to fight. Now, again, you're going to have less people fighting because also there's no draft. You don't have people just signing you up to the fight, right? The Confederates had it. I'm not sure if the Union had it. I think they had it as well, right? You don't have people drafting you to fight. So that's why there's going to be less people in this fight and less deaths, because no one's pushing you to do this shit, which is a good thing, which is an absolute good thing. Now, should political parties get involved and the Democrats want this fight and the Republicans want this fight, then there's going to be a problem. Then more people than the original Civil War are going to die, because now you have actual leadership and you got people possibly forcing you to fight. Now, with this Civil War, people are going to say you're going to choose sides. Again, there's no sides to choose, guys. You got, right now, 4 factions talking shit, wanting to do some shit, starting these little bullshit bullying tactics. There's no sides to choose with that. Because if you choose any one of those sides, you're an asshole. Bottom line, right? If you choose not fucking around and BLM, you're a dick. If you choose Proud Boys and Antifa, you're an asshole, which is another form of a dick. So you choose, guys. We who are smarter than the rest, and I say the rest because we're not falling into the bullshit. We're not falling into the media's hands. We're not feeding out of their hands. We're smarter than that. And that's why, again, I like a lot of my subscribers. You guys are way smarter than that. This is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. And other than that, guys, thank you for watching.